Hi. I love fiddling with pipe cleaners. You can be really creative with them. They're easy to use, and with just a few twists and turns, you can make just about anything. Pretty good, huh? Pipe cleaners are soft and fuzzy on the outside, but the reason they're so flexible is that on the inside, they're made of wire. Wire bends and curls, but it's also amazingly strong, which is why so many things we use every day are made of wire. As you can see, wire is almost everywhere. People all over the world find ways to use it. In this book, a young African boy builds something out of wire that's very clever. It's called Galimoto.
Galimoto by Karen Lynn Williams. Illustrated by Catherine Stock. Read by Hattie Winston. Condi opened an old shoebox, and inside were his things. There was a knife Condi had made from a tin can, and a dancing man he had made from dried cornstalks. In Condi's box, there were also some scraps of wire he had been saving for something special. I shall make a Galimoto, Condi told his brother Ufulu. Ufulu laughed. A boy with only 7 years cannot make such a toy. You don't have enough wire. I will get enough wire. Condi took his knife and went to the home of his friend Gift. I want your wires, Condi told Gift. I'll give you my knife for them. Why do you want the wires? Gift asked. I want to make a Galimoto, Condi answered. Gift took a handful of wires from his box of things and gave them to Condi. That's not enough wire for a Galimoto, Gift told his friend. I will find enough wire. Condi put his wires into an old bag and took them to the shop of his uncle. I want the wires you have on your old packing boxes. They would make a fine Galimoto. So, you want to make a Galimoto? The son of my brother is a clever boy. Take the wires. Condi could hear the grinders at the flour mill. Many women with babies tied on their backs waited in the hot sun. Condi squeezed through the crowd. The women began yelling angrily.
Wait! You cannot go there.
Where is he going?
Stop him! Stop him!
I have no maize to grind. I only want wires for a Galimoto. The miller shrugged. There are some wires out back. Take those and go. In the back of the mill, Condi found some very thin wires wrapped in red and yellow and green plastic. I can scrape the coating off, Condi thought. Condi passed some young children playing on an ant hill. One was Mundi, the small sister of his friend Gift. She had a fine long piece of wire, which she stuck into the dirt. Little friend, you cannot catch an ant that way. With some water and a stick, we will fool them. Condi poured water around one of the holes. Now they will think the rains have begun, Condi explained. Then he stuck a stick down the hole. Gently he pulled it out, and on the end was a large ant. My stick is better than a wire for catching ants. You may have the stick, and I'll take the wire. Condi took his wires to the shade of the red flame trees in his village. Condi sorted his wires. There were thick pieces and thin pieces. Some were long and some were short. Condi banged the bent and twisted ones with a stone to straighten them. The thick wires made the frame. He wrapped the very thinnest wires at the joints to hold the Galimoto together. My Galimoto will be a pickup truck, Condi decided. His brothers and sisters admired his work. So, you found enough wire? Ufulu said. Yes, Condi agreed. Let the moon be bright for us to play and sing tonight. Condi could hear his friends singing in the distance, calling him to play. He carefully guided his Galimoto over the dusty path. Galimoto! Someone cheered. And one by one, Condi's friends formed a line behind him. Galimoto! 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 They began to chant. Condi saw the shadow of his Galimoto cast by the moonlight racing alongside. It's a fine Galimoto, he thought proudly. And perhaps tomorrow I shall make my Galimoto into an ambulance or an airplane or a helicopter.
Gandhi would have a great time with this piece of wire, even though it is kind of wild. It seems to have a mind of its own, and it moves all over the place. There's an artist in Santa Fe, New Mexico, who's an expert at taming wire, and she really knows how to whip it into shape.
My name is Eleanor McKay, and I make sculptures out of wire. I never, ever thought that I would be making wire sculptures. I just picked up a piece of wire and started bending it. I use very simple tools, wire cutters and needle nose pliers, and my hands. It's like drawing in space.